Did you know that one of the most popular support items in pro play for Enchanters is Mikael's Blessing, not only for the range supports, even melee engagers build it sometimes. Why build it? The logic of pro players is clear, because CC is pretty strong, especially with coordination. They try to prevent getting chain CC'd and blown up. Sort of makes sense. But if you look at solo queue, you will see that the vast majority of players are building Moonstone. It's easy to understand them too. After all, the extra shields and heals sound pretty cool. Both options make sense. But which option is actually better? Maybe there are different options to get, and both mentioned items aren't the best. What are these other options? You will find out in today's video. So, why aren't these items the best? Let's turn to the practice tool to find out what these items actually give and what they do. Okay, Moonstone, 30 AP, 250 health, 20 ability haste, and 125% base mana regeneration. Additionally, a unique passive. Healing or shielding an allied champion changes the effect to the other nearest allied champion, and giving them more shields and heals. Sounds like a useful item, and the effect seems like it should do something useful. Let's look at the cost efficiency. A good 131%. That sounds very strong. So what is the problem with Moonstone? Well, first of all, base mana regeneration inflating the cost efficiency of the item very greatly, while providing almost nothing. So Moonstone is basically only 100% cost efficient. Support items are very cheap, and due to the extra income from the support item, you can get them pretty early. By the time you purchase them, around 14-15 minutes, you will only be level 9 or 8. This means that your main skills are not maxed. As a result, you don't have full power heals and shields yet. Next on the list. Even though this item improves shields heals with passive, as they are applied, it doesn't increase heal and shield power as stat on the item. Stacking both of them is powerful, but rushing the item means you don't have needed stat for it yet. Imagine you heal or shield someone at 100 HP. All they get is an extra 40 heals or 45 shields. I don't think it will be enough to protect your team. With the scaling nature of the item, the more AP, heal and shield power you have, the more powerful this item will become. So, this item will not be a good first purchase, but it will be more optimal as a second item, and stats prove it. Let's look at Soraka, Janna, Yuumi, Sona and Milio. The first item Moonstone has a very low win rate compared to other items. Here, as you can see, the win rate is lower. So, let's move on. Mikael, what does it do? 15 ability haste, 250 health, 100% base mana regeneration, and 12% heal and shield power. And passive. Remove all CC except airborne, blind and suppression from yourself or target allied champion, and heal the target for some HP. Well, and the cost efficiency is even lower than Moonstone, which we found out is a pretty bad first item. So it also has 100% base mana regeneration, and that in turn means the cost efficiency is below 100%. Next, as we know, Enchanters are a class of supports that scales very well over the course of the game, but this item does not give almost any scaling with the stats and effects. Literally 0 AP. Yes, you get heal and shield power, but it's not enough to compensate for the loss of both damage and defense in the form of heal and shields. If you are wasting the active, which can be hard to time or react for, the item isn't very useful at all. Pro players who are better at using actives with coordination can make the item look more useful than it actually is. Cleansing some 5k HP Sejuani frontliner or your RDC that could have played cleanse is simply not very helpful. As a result, after buying this item, these kind of players cannot contribute very much to the game other than removing random CC. This only becomes an issue if their opposition would buy better items. We have established that cleansing frontliners who are designed to soak up damage and CC doesn't make sense. On the same note, we learned that taking cleanse is simply superior to wasting a full item slot of your support. So, it turns out that this item is very useless, especially as a first buy. Let's look at the stats. Again, they prove my point. Soraka, Janna, Yuumi, Sona and Milio all have even worse win rate with it compared to Moonstone. The same trend continues in Master Plus. At the end of the day, both the items that got popular in solo queue and the items that got popular in pro play are actually bad compared to the real items. What are those real items? Let's look at Ardent Censer, one of the two best yet underrated items on Enchanters. Taking a look at its stats: 50 AP, 8% heal and shield power, 125% base mana regeneration, and 8% move speed. The passive, healing or shielding allied champions, granting you and them bonus attack speed and bonus magic damage on hit on autos. The stats look better already, because this item gives AP, which scales your champion and gives him more damage and utility for his teammates, and heal shield power, which helps your allies even more. Looking at the cost efficiency, we see 113%, and even lower as base mana regeneration messes up cost efficiency. But the passive is the point. When buffing only one champion, Ardent has an incredible increase in efficiency, because it gives you two very powerful stats. And if you are playing Sona, who can buff 4 champions, the gold efficiency becomes absurd. The buff also lasts for 6 seconds, which allows you to compensate the lack of ability haste on the first item. So Ardent becomes one of the strongest support items in the game. Well, and as usual, statistics proves it. We look at the same champions, we see that this item is one of the best for almost all enchanters, but there is one item that can compete with Ardent. And that is... Staff of Flowing Water, probably the most underrated item in the game. Let's take a look at what it does. 40 AP, 125% base mana regeneration, 15 ability haste, and 8% heal and shield power. And passive, healing or shielding allied champions grants you and them ability power and bonus movement speed for 4 seconds. Well, the stats look similar to Ardent, except 10 AP less, and move speed is replaced by ability haste, because the passive is only applied for 4 seconds. We look at the cost efficiency and see roughly the same result. Without its passive, the item may seem weak, but the passive making the item double in strength. 30 AP and 10% move speed will help literally everywhere. It will help you to give more shields or heals, as all enchanters have AP scalings. And it will help you and your ally to move around the map while being at a safe distance from enemies with additional move speed. You will be able to deal significantly more damage too. We look at the statistics and it confirms our observations. It is on par with Ardent, and sometimes even surpasses it. So, we can conclude that both of these items are much stronger than other popular items that are built by the majority of players at both regular and elite levels of the game. Depending on the game, you could go Staff or Ardent first. For example, if you have a lot of AP scales on your team, but not many champions who are good at attack speed, Staff might be a better option. If you have 2 ADCs on your team or bruiser champions who are happy to have more attack speed, you can take Ardent. It all depends on the situation. So the next time you see Lulu or Milio or any enchanter in your team, advise them to try these items. I am sure the game will feel much easier and more enjoyable with supports building Staff and Censer. Statistics are power. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video and you will not forget to subscribe to the channel and put the like. But for now, goodbye.